The 1-7 Carolina Panthers take on the 2-7 Chicago Bears at Soldier Field for the whole country to watch on Thursday Night Football. This will certainly be one of the games of all time. We are now in the middle of the 2023 football season. The action is heating up. Teams are preparing to make a run for the playoffs, and there's a lot of bets to place out there if you guys haven't done so already. This video is actually sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL, and I have a great promotion for you guys. If you don't have an account yet, download the app. The link is in my description box in the comments as well. And if you use promo code DaWindyCity while signing up, if you put $5 on any wager on the app, you actually get $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's that easy. So great promotion to take advantage of if you're new to the app. But if you're not new to DraftKings Sportsbook, if you already have an account with them, no problem, because I also got some promotions for you guys as well. Okay, right now there's something going on called no sweat bets, which means that if you place a same game parlay or a same game parlay X on their app, you can actually get some of your money back in the form of a bonus bet, right? And max wagering limits do apply for this, so keep that in mind. But it's a great promotion to take advantage of if you want to bet on multiple teams or multiple players at the same time and potentially, you know, take a small wager and turn that into a big winning, right? So a lot of fun stuff going on the app. Again, download the app down below. The link is in my description box in the pinned comment as well. And new customers, if you sign up with my promo code DaWindyCity, put $5 on any wager on the app, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts before and after each Bears game. And I apologize, I'm a little bit sick right now, so if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, if I'm sniffling a little bit, apologies if that's kind of annoying. I might actually be going to this game also on Thursday night if I do end up feeling better myself, so I might buy tickets on Wednesday night if I am feeling better by then. And also, if Justin Fields is playing in this game, I want him to play if I'm actually gonna be at this game. So that's a big question mark though, right? Like, is Justin Fields actually going to return for this game? He's been out for almost a month now at this point with the thumb injury, but he could be returning on Thursday night because he has practiced in limited fashion on both Monday and Tuesday of this week and Friday of last week. So there is a decent chance he could be playing in this game. I know if it were up to Justin Fields, he would 100% be playing in this game because this guy has played hurt in the past and he knows that he needs to play well throughout the last course of the season if he wants to be the Chicago Bears long-term franchise quarterback. Okay, time is running out, and every chance he gets to put on some good tape for the Bears, he's going to try to take advantage of those opportunities. So, you know, I really hope that Justin Fields does play in this game because obviously we know that Tyson Bagent is not the quarterback of the future. He's a solid backup, but he's never going to be that starter for the Chicago Bears. If they don't keep Justin Fields for next year, they're probably going to draft a different quarterback, but we have to make sure that we're 100% certain Justin Fields is not the guy, and we can only do that by seeing him playing in these football games. And I'm rooting for the guy 100%. You guys know I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I've always been a fan of his talent, of his ability, and I think if we do get rid of him, he's going to light it up somewhere else next year. So I really hope that the Bears can keep him and he performs well down the stretch so he can prove to the Bears front office and to the fan base that he can be that franchise quarterback of the Bears. But again, time is running out. Okay, every single game now he has to take seriously, he has to perform well for him to be that long-term quarterback. And talking about this game, guys, this is a must-win for the Chicago Bears to improve their draft pick. Okay, the Carolina Panthers owe us their first-round pick, so by beating them in this game, we're actually going to be improving our first-round pick, which never happens in any other situation. Okay, if you win a game, you're usually hurting your draft position, but this is the only time the entire year that winning this game is actually going to give us a better, higher draft pick. So, you know, obviously the players don't really care about the draft that much. Like, they're not trying to be replaced by somebody else. But for the Chicago Bears as an organization, like, getting that number one pick or getting a top 3 pick in general from the Carolina Panthers would be a massive, massive thing for this franchise. Because if you want to move off of Justin Fields, if he stinks it up these last 8 games, then you can do so by selecting a Drake May, Caleb Williams, whoever. It's a pretty talented quarterback draft class. But if you want to keep Justin Fields, which is the ideal situation in my opinion, you could trade that number 1 or number 2 pick for a king's ransom, which would make our ransom for the Panthers this year look tiny in comparison, right? Because Bryce Young is not the caliber of prospect that a Caleb Williams or a Drake May are. So Getting that top 3 pick from the Carolina Panthers would be absolutely massive. You could also select a Marvin Harrison Jr. in the top 3 if you want to. So many good things could happen for the Bears franchise for the long term if we do get a really, really high pick in this draft from the Carolina Panthers. And by beating them in this game, we would be helping our chances of getting an even higher pick from them. And talking about the Panthers, guys, this is one of the only teams that's been a worse team than the Chicago Bears this year. They have a 1-7 record. Obviously, have been putrid the entire season. Bryce Young has had a lot of rookie struggles. Their entire organization has been, really under some chaos this year, with reports coming out about ownership, preventing Frank Reich from drafting CJ Stroud when he wanted CJ Stroud, but the owner wanted Bryce Young. So it's been a little bit of a chaotic franchise this year, and good for the Bears, okay, because we have been very chaotic ourselves. So to come across a team that's even more chaotic than we have been this year, even worse than we have been this year, we might actually win this game. But I'm not going to say it's a guarantee still, because the Bears themselves have been really, really bad this year. But talking about the Carolina Panthers, guys, I'll be breaking down both sides of the ball for them. And talking about their offense, first of all, they rank number 26 in points scored per game, number 28 in yards gained per game. They're the number 27 passing offense, and number 24 rushing offense. And the number 1 pick, Bryce Young, has certainly had his fair share of rookie struggles, and it's not entirely been his fault because the situation around him is so bad. Bad offensive line, bad playmakers, which us Bears fans should know the best. Putting Justin Fields in that situation last year, but he has looked pretty rough throughout the vast majority of this year, okay? He has 1,375 passing yards, 8 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He threw 2 pick sixes in the last game to the same player. He's had some trouble with vision down the field, with turnover problems, obviously, with the lack of big plays, and he's looked decent in some stretches. Obviously, it's not been entirely bad film from him, but he's also not looked anything like fellow rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. So certainly struggling right now. He's a very small guy, so I'm not sure if that has something to do with his lack of vision sometimes down the field with not seeing guys, but it very well could. Okay, he's like only 5'10 on a good day, so pretty small guy, but a very accurate guy when he does have that, pocket in front of him, which he did at Alabama, but he's not really having that with the Carolina Panthers. And talking about the offensive line here, okay, it's been a pretty rough offensive line. The offensive line has allowed 26 sacks so far this year. Second-year player Ikem Ekwonu has struggled big time this year in pass protection as compared to last year. He's definitely regressed in some key areas. On the right side, they have Taylor Moton, who also has not been anything really good. On the interior, they don't have any big names either. So the entire offensive line for the vast majority of the season has looked pretty rough in pass protection. They've been a little bit better in run blocking, but it's not been a good cohesive offensive line in front of Bryce Young. And talking about the weapons, they're also not really good, okay? They probably have the worst receiving core in the NFL. They have Adam Thielen performing pretty well for them. He's been the lone bright spot. He has 610 yards on the season and 4 touchdowns, so he's still a pretty good route runner. He can still separate down the field. Definitely the best playmaker on this offense. But DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo have struggled to get open down the field, have struggled with consistency, being playmakers for Bryce Young. So all in all, this is a pretty terrible offense here in Carolina, but obviously against the Chicago Bears defense, which has been a pretty bad defense for a good part of the year, like anything is possible, right? Like I would not be surprised if this Panthers offense does figure things out to some extent against the Bears defense, but it's right now a pretty bad offense. And talking about the Panthers defense, definitely a lot better there, but still struggling in some areas. So they rank number 31 in points allowed per game, number 8 in yards allowed per game, number 5 pass defense, number 28 run defense. And a big storyline here is that star pass rusher Brian Burns will not be playing in this game due to being in the concussion protocol. So their best player probably on defense, besides for J.C. Horn, who's also out for this game, will not be here. And C.J. Henderson, their cornerback, also will not be playing in this game. So that is a massive loss for a Panthers defense to lose their best edge rusher, to lose a starting cornerback as well. I know C.J. Anderson has not been really good this year, but he still was playing a lot of snaps for them at times. So, it's not going to be a fully healthy Panthers defense here, which at full health, they have actually been pretty decent. They have defensive coordinator Ejiro Everett, who with the Denver Broncos last year, he was a fine defensive coordinator, really helped that Broncos defense. Without him, they've been a lot worse. And the Carolina Panthers this year, even though they lack talent in key parts of their defense, they're still performing better than their talent level does suggest. So I would not be totally surprised if Ejiro Everett does still put together a pretty strong game plan against the Chicago Bears offense, but it will be hard with all these key guys injured on this defense. And I do want to talk about how bad they've been in the red zone and also against the run, right? Because they're allowing a lot of points, even though their yardage they're allowing is not that high. They have been allowing a lot of points per game. So when opposing offenses do get into the red zone, this defense really does struggle there. And also against the run, okay, they rank as a number 28 run defense. They're allowing 4.4 yards per carry to opposing offenses. So that could be a matchup to watch. Okay, a strong Chicago Bears offense in running the ball going up against a poor run defense could be a bad matchup for this Panthers defense. But talking about the Chicago Bears now, on offense, they rank number 19 in points scored per game, number 19 also in yards gained per game, number 24 passing attack, and number 4 run game. And the big storyline here is Justin Fields going to be starting, okay? Because I think the Bears offense does change by a lot if Justin Fields is in the lineup, obviously, because he has the type of speed that Tyson Bagent does not. And he's also a different type of quarterback than Tyson Bagent is, okay? Tyson Bagent is good at avoiding sacks. He's good at getting the ball out quickly, but he lacks the big play, deep ball ability that Justin Fields has, okay? Justin Fields has one of the prettiest deep balls in the entire NFL. He's always looking to throw the ball, you know, beyond 20-30 yards. So I think you can expect more deep passing plays with Justin Fields in the lineup, and probably more running plays too if Luke Getsy has any sort of brain. Hopefully Luke Getsy does use Justin Fields' legs in this game, because obviously Fields is struggling with a thumb injury. So maybe by running the ball a little bit more with him, he's going to put a little bit less pressure on him to succeed as a passer, if that thumb is not feeling fully healthy. But no matter who the quarterback has been, both of them have struggled with turnovers, so that's going to be a big thing for the Bears quarterback, whoever it is, to limit, because right now the Bears are turning the ball over at an alarming rate, okay? They have 18 turnovers on offense, which is the second worst number in the NFL. So Tyson Bagent especially has been bad with that, but also Justin Fields, he has multiple pick sixes on the year. He has multiple fumbles too, so he has to really take care of the football and not give extra possessions to a struggling Panthers offense to help them out. And running the football well could assist us in doing that, because we have been one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL again. You know, D'Onta Foreman has been going off in place of Khalil Herbert, but Khalil Herbert now is actually returning from injured reserve. So I'm kind of curious to see like how the pecking order at running back goes. Is it going to be, you know, going back now to Khalil Herbert as a lead back and Roshan Johnson as RB2 and Foreman as RB3? Probably not, you would think, right, with how good Foreman has been as he's starting back, and especially going up against his former team, the Carolina Panthers, who did not choose to re-sign him, you know, this offseason. I think that could be a fun storyline, you know, for him to go up against his former team. And I think you want to kind of, you know, ease Khalil Herbert back into the rotation and not give him too many carries right away, especially with his injury and also because of Foreman being so damn good. So I think all three of the Bears running backs are really damn talented. Like, you cannot really go wrong with how you order them, but Foreman is the hot hand, so I do hope that D'Onta Foreman does get the majority of the carries. And then lastly, talking about the Bears offensive line, I want to shout them out as well, because the Bears offensive line has been getting better and better every single week. Last game, starting left tackle Braxton Jones actually returned to the lineup, and he had a pretty solid performance aside from some bad penalties, which have been an issue for him. It's been an issue for the entire Bears offensive line, so they definitely have to work on limiting those penalties, you know, giving away yardage like that. But in pass protection, they have definitely been getting better and better. And last week, Tyson Bagent had multiple, you know, really big pockets against a pretty talented Saints defensive line. So against a struggling Panthers pass rush right now, like, maybe they could have another strong performance against that defense. Lastly, talking about the Bears defense, they rank number 28 in points allowed per game, number 19 in yards allowed per game, number 28 pass defense, number 4 run defense. And the secondary now is fully healthy, okay? Knock on wood, because they've been getting injured the entire season, but Jaquan Brisker should be back for this game. Eddie Jackson returned last game, and Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon also have been fully back. So this will be the first time we're getting an entire starting Bears secondary to play together in the same game since week 1, I think, right? And Kyler Gordon went down pretty early in week 1. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how they play together, if the pass defense can be better now, because on paper they have been allowing a lot of yards. Now, part of that has been, you know, how bad the pass rush has been, and partly due to bad scheme as well. We're not really allowing these cornerbacks, these safeties, to be as aggressive as they should be, you know, given their talents. So a little bit disappointed still in the scheme, you know, with Eberflus not really being as good of a defensive mind as I thought he would be. But the defense has also been better as of late. I'm not going to go out and say it's been a terrible defense the past, you know, 3-4 weeks, because aside from that Chargers game in that first half, like, they have been holding their own and been a lot better than the first month of the season. And I do want to talk about Montez Sweat again, because he did definitely make an impact in the last game. He had 4 pressures. He was playing pretty well against the run, and he got pretty close to getting a sack, but every single time Derek Carr got the ball out at the last second. So I do want to see somebody on the other side step up. Okay, Yannick Ngakoue, the guy that we paid like $10 million a season, he's provided us with basically nothing when it relates to pass rush, aside from in that first game against the Packers in the first half. Like, where has he been? He usually gets 8-10 sacks per season, but for whatever reason, he's been completely vanishing. He's been a ghost the entire year. So somebody on the other side of Montez Sweat has to step up, whether that's Yannick Ngakoue, whether that's DeMarcus Walker, whether that's Dominique Robinson somehow. Although Dominique Robinson, I've basically given up all hope on him because he has shown very little development throughout the past 2 years. You know, we're going to need somebody to step up and actually get to the quarterback, because we're still not getting sacks. We're not getting the quarterback into the dirt. And the run defense continues to be impressive. Like last game also against Alvin Kamara, we did not allow that many rushing yards. We allowed Derek Carr to dot us up through the air, but running the football, the Saints were not that effective. Basically every single team this year, especially in the last month of the season, has not been able to run the football effectively against this pretty stout Bears defensive line when it relates to defending against the run. So that's one area where the Bears defense clearly has to, you know, continue showing opposing offenses they're strong at, because that forces opposing offenses to be pretty one-dimensional. So, you know, I hope the Bears defense can stick with this strong run defense. With that being said, let me get to my 3 keys to Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears actually win this game and beat the Panthers at home? Key number 1 is going to be to get Bryce Young rattled early. Okay, Bryce Young, when he's been seeing pressure so far this year, which has been pretty often, he's not been a very accurate quarterback. He struggled with turnovers. Last game he threw 2 pick sixes under some level of pressure. So with how small he is, you know, sometimes I think it is actually difficult for him to see guys downfield, especially with these big NFL defensive linemen in front of him. So if you are the Chicago Bears defensive line, get your hands up, make him look small, get him down to the dirt, and maybe we can rattle him early and get a few picks off of him in the early stages. Key number 2 then is going to be to have a strong emphasis on the ground game for the Chicago Bears offense. Okay, the Bears right now are the number 4 ranked rushing attack in football, and stick with what you're best at doing, Luke Getsy. Okay, don't try to deviate too much from the game plan and try to prove that Justin Fields can pass for 400 plus passing yards, because against this defense, which has been pretty stingy against the pass, and especially with Justin Fields coming back from a thumb injury, if he is indeed playing in this game, you don't want to test him too much as a passer, I would think. Okay, complement his abilities, you know, as a quarterback with a strong run game that includes QB runs probably from Justin Fields as well, but use Deontay Foreman, use Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, the talented backs that you have, and punish a pretty weak Panthers run defense. They've been bad against the run, so it makes too much sense to run the ball against this defense. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to feed your best playmaker on offense. Okay, when you do pass the ball, pass it to the former Carolina Panther, DJ Moore, because I guarantee you he's going to have something to prove against his team. He's probably still a little bit offended to some extent that they did trade him away to draft a rookie quarterback, a guy that was so good for the Carolina Panthers. DJ Moore, one of their best receivers they have had in the past like 10 years after Steve Smith. Like, he was the guy for the Carolina Panthers, and make them pay for that decision to trade him. Okay, I think that DJ Moore definitely is going to want to go off for having 100 plus yards, and that's possible, you know, if we do feed him the ball, because every time we do get the ball into this guy's hands, he makes something happen after the catch, and he's been really, really good for the Chicago Bears. So feed DJ Moore. And lastly, it's time for my score prediction. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football beating the Carolina Panthers by a score of 21-14. The Bears should win this game, guys. Like, we have more talent than the Panthers do on both offense and right now maybe on defense too, right? Because the Panthers are missing several key guys on defense. So especially with the rookie quarterback, the Bears should win this. Am I totally confident they will? Probably not, because the Bears have, you know, broken my heart time and time again. And this is still a bad Bears team. So don't think it's going to be any sort of blowout. It's probably not going to be. with how good the Panthers defense has been at times, but beating them by a score of 7 points, I think should be possible. I think that Justin Fields is not going to be great in this game because he is returning from a thumb injury. Probably is going to be rusty to some extent. And again, the Panthers do have a pretty stingy pass defense. Keep that in mind. If Fields does not pass for above like 250 yards, okay, I don't think it's very likely Fields has a great statistical outing in this game. But if the Bears do run the football, get some turnovers on defense, they very well should win this game, and I hope that happens. Okay, I would love to see a Bears victory at home if I do end up actually going to this game. As for my offensive MVP, obviously I have to go with DJ Moore, the former Carolina Panther. He's going to have so much to prove against this team, and I really hope he can go off and have the stat line that he had on the last Thursday Night Football game. That's probably not very likely because this is a better, Panthers pass defense, but if he does have 80, 90, 100 yards and a touchdown, I think he would be pretty happy with that against his former team. As for my defense MVP, let me go with Gervon Dexter. Okay, the Bears coaches for some reason refused to play this guy in the last game. He only played like less than 20% of the snaps, but against a worse Carolina Panthers offensive line, I would pray and hope that the Bears coaches do put him up against that offensive line and see what he can do, because he does have the physical attributes to succeed against lesser talented players, and you can only let him develop if you actually let him play. So I think the Bears coaches will actually give him a decent amount of playing time in this game, and I'm predicting Gervon Dexter gets 1 sack, okay, his first sack in the NFL in this game against a smaller Bryce Young. But leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think is going to be happening in this game? It should be a pretty fun game to watch, I hope, as a Bears fan, but you can never be too certain with this damn cursed football team. They could very well go out here and lose this game, and the Bears at that point would just be tanking with their own first-round pick, because if we can't beat the Panthers, we probably can't beat anybody else down the stretch. And if we actually lose this game, Matt Eberflus better be fired the first thing Friday morning. Leave your comments down below. Again, I might be at this game, so if I am at this game, I'll probably post on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, and also on my YouTube community tab, so be on the lookout for that if you want to meet me at the game or just talk football at the game. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Hopefully Bears win. As always, bear down.